Hello, I'm Pam Carruthers, healingstars.com. This is the chart for the full moon, 30th of November, set for London at 9:29 a.m. And as usual, I use whole signs to represent the houses. So here we have the sun. It's now in Sagittarius, and always at a full moon, the moon is in the opposite sign of Gemini. And the nodes of the moon, south node is at Sagittarius, and the north node is in Gemini. And you can see that this, people talk about this being a lunar eclipse. Well, it's a really partial lunar eclipse. It's hardly major news, because the sun, you can see at 8 degrees, almost, 8.5, and here's the south node at 20. That's a long way away. We have to wait for the full solar eclipse at the new moon on the 14th of December. That is an important date for the calendar. Now, we have the sun and moon. The aspect, the connection they have, are kind of weak, but they're worth considering. So here in this chart opposite, you can see, here's the sun. It's called a semi-square, and the moon, it's a sesquiquadrate, awkward. The word itself is awkward. They're both to Jupiter. So Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. And currently, it's in its last degrees. It's moving towards Aquarius. But at the moment, there it is in Capricorn at 26 degrees. It's hemmed in by Pluto, buried wealth, power, and then Saturn, Lord of Karma. And Saturn is cold-hearted reality. And Saturn has been dominating the whole year because it's in its own sign of Capricorn. Now, both these planets are about to move sign. Not yet, but they are in a few weeks' time. They are both going to be moving into the sign of Aquarius. So that is major news, because these two planets don't come together every day of the week. No way. And they are very important for world affairs. Now, we've had these minor lunar eclipses this year. This is not the first one. We had it on January the 10th, around then, June 5th, and July 4th. So, are those dates relevant for you? If so, you might be tuning into this particular partial lunar eclipse as well. And what astrologer is saying this is about plans not coming together. Now, that's an interesting thing to be thinking of, because Saturn in Capricorn is very much about structure and long-term planning. Capricorn is very much about that. Step by step is Capricorn to get to the top of the mountain, the mountain goat, if you know that symbol there. Now, the sun, as I said, is ruled by this very difficult Jupiter energy in Capricorn, so it's not easy. The moon is in Gemini. Now, Gemini moon is very much about the twins. Gemini, that's who they are, the twins. It's a dual sign. It's being like in two minds. So if you've been feeling like that recently, shall I do this or shall I do that? Trying to balance something. It's never easy. It's never easy. But you might, this is only a full moon, but it will be moving. That moon will be moving away from that sign in a couple of days' time. So wait, is my advice. Mercury, which is the planet to do with the moon, is now in its last final degrees. There it is at 27 degrees of Scorpio. So it's going to be changing sign on December the 1st. Because it's been retrograde, it's spent a long time in Scorpio. So we can look forward to that change of energy. Meanwhile, if you look at Mercury, it's in a very strong, see that dotted blue line, a very strong relationship to both Jupiter and Saturn, and you can pull in Pluto as well. So that's saying, be aware of something that is deep. Scorpio is a deep sign. Venus is now in Scorpio. That's very much the sorceress energy, which is much maligned, the witch and all those I can't even think about it. You know, the persecution of women to do with witchcraft. I want to mention someone who's in the news at the moment, Meghan Markle, who has just talked very courageously and with a lot of compassion about her recent miscarriage. Now, that's an interesting, hardly the right word, but Scorpio is all about taboos. So she's breaking a taboo there in coming out. And her message is very much asking people truly, how are you? How are you? And listening for the answer. That's a very important process that we've all been going through over the last Mercury, Scorpio, all this Scorpio energy. You know, what's really happening underneath the surface? Meghan Markle, interestingly, was born in 1981, in August of that year. And that's the very same year that Princess Diana got married. And I'm looking at the charts at the moment of Princess Diana, Kimberly Parker Bowles, Prince Charles, James Hewitt, and giving a talk in the new year on that subject. So Diana, Princess Diana, Lady Diana, is back in the news right now. And so there is this feminine energy that both these two people, or these women, are talking about. And obviously, if you've watched The Crown, you might have seen all of it. I have. You know, what is the real story? We don't know. We don't know. However, very much in the case of Diana, she needed so much to be loved. She did. That was her cry. And in her chart, her moon, that's to do with mother, and her mother, of course, left when she was a small girl. She was age 6. So that really was what she was looking for. Unfortunately, Charles couldn't supply that astrologically. However, you know, to me, it's the whole royal family are not very good at giving that kind of warm affection to outsiders. And yeah, that's my talk carrying on next year. So we have on the 17th, Saturn moves into Aquarius. On the 19th, we have Jupiter into Aquarius. And that, as I said, is a whole new chapter astrologically. And looking forward to that because Aquarius is humanity. It's about what are groups of people and coming together with ideals and high ideals as such. So coming back to what that astrologer said about plans not coming together, how committed are you to your plans? Saturn is to do with commitment. And Wayne Dyer, once upon a time, I remember him clearly describing how difficult it is sometimes to move forward. But his analogy was, say you're flying from UK to Hawaii. The pilot doesn't actually go in a direct straight line because of all course of winds, etc. I'm not a pilot, I don't know. But he said what they do is they go off at an angle and then they change course correction and then they turn in a different direction. And they're basically zigzagging all the way to get to their location. And I like that with this full moon. Gemini is saying, let's be clever, let's think outside the box, let's work with Mercury's energy and say, you know, what can I do differently? One planet, most important planet, Uranus down here, the planet of change. If you notice, Venus has just been opposite Uranus. Uranus is also at virtually the same degree as the sun and moon. It's a little green dotted line. It's called an inconjunct. See that little green line? And that's a symbol to do with letting go. Letting go of fixed Taurus, stubbornness, you know, it's got to be done my way, whatever, you know, I'm not changing. You know, Uranus is going through Taurus now, and it means that everyone who has a planet in Taurus will eventually be dealing with this in some way or another. change, even a minor change in your environment, stepping back, looking at where you live, where you work. A lot of us are working from home now. How is your home? How does it suit you? Are there things you can do to make it more welcoming? The whole energy of Venus is about beauty, but also passion, that Venus in Scorpio. So the passion of Scorpio is still relevant at this full moon. And I invite you to take care. For those of you in the States, I hope Thanksgiving was wonderful for you. And of course, I look forward to the new moon, new intention, and a solar eclipse on the 14th of this month. So bless you and good night. Bye for now. Pam Carruthers of healingstars.com.